Welcome back to Risque Business News. I'm May.
And I'm Laura, and we are very lucky today to have a guest on the episode, Hannah Burke, who is the Global Financial Crimes Manager of Crypto and Blockchain Strategy at PayPal. Jesus. She is going to walk us through FTX, SBF, more acronyms, and what's going on with that guy. If you listen to our last pod, it's going to be very useful because we are really going to hop right into it and go through the significant drama that's occurred over the last 2-ish weeks.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Yeah. So, Hannah Burke, we can't wait. Strap in.
Where's the money? I don't understand how you make money.
Hold on.
From that, though.
2 stand-up comics in New York City.
Just learned a lot of this stuff. I'm gonna ask all the stupid questions that you might be thinking at home, but are afraid to ask people.
Making it to where you feel like you're too stupid to be able to ever engage in it, they win.
Why the fuck are they doing this?
It's to make money. It's Risque Business News. All right, Hannah, can you introduce yourself? We did a pretty bad job up top.
We did. We were like, she's smart, we're dumb. Okay, continue.
We had fun the first time. We had fun. I think we were on, a year ago? We were talking about all things crypto, but now we have a reason to talk about the bad side. And I shouldn't even say it's the bad side of crypto, but it's like the bad side of bad people using crypto. Yeah. So I just need to make that little clarification that SBF is an asshole. Crypto is not an asshole. SBF is an asshole. Am I allowed to curse on here? Is that okay?
Yeah. What are you, nuts? Yeah.
Yes. The short answer is yes, absolutely. You may curse. You may say really insane things. Go fucking crazy.
You know why? Because we're about to cover some insane things about SBF and his girlfriend and the things they do and the things they did. But anyway, real quick, my intro. I'm Hannah. I've been in crypto for about, I think, 5 years. I've been in anti-financial crimes and white collar investigations for my entire career, so almost 10 years. I really just love digging into these weird ass stories. Like I think you guys covered John McAfee that one time. Ooh, I did a deep dive into your podcast on that one. Highly recommend listeners going to that one because that one's insane. But there's really weird people that are involved in crypto. And when you use something like the blockchain, it's kind of easy to investigate what they're doing because it's all pretty transparent. But when it comes to SBF, which is what we're going to talk about, he's fucking crazy. And he didn't really use the blockchain to further his crimes. He just used decades old fraud and Ponzi scheme and like really everything else to be an idiot. And so
good old fashioned stealing.
How retro.
Yeah.
I love it. It's chic.
A little collab.
Yeah.
Old meets new. Let's go. Holy hell. So just out the gate. So you work in this field. People are pissed. Huh?
Yeah.
I just want to say.
Understatement of the fucking century.
I just want to say, are they mad or like, are they like cool with it?
Okay, there's 2 sides to this story. The crypto people that lost their money, I think there's 1 million creditors and $10 billion that are just missing.
Yeah.
People are mad. When you read news articles from like the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal, it's like SBF could have been an extraordinary philanthropist. Oops, mismanagement. So people are mad on 2 sides of the coin.
Why do you think, obviously, like the obvious take is that he was paying off a bunch of politicians and whatever, and they want to protect him and they want to protect the politicians that he was kind of in bed with. But like, do you have anything further to expand on with why places like the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times are sort of like, you know, sugarcoating it quite a bit and sort of placating it, like kind of gaslighting everybody, honestly? What's your take on that?
I'm being gaslit.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that. Because I feel like I'm losing my mind. I feel like I'm being gaslit. I have a feeling it's because they've done such an extensive job covering him for the past, 2-3 years. I think FTX started in 2019. Since then, he's been the brain boy. He's been the brainchild, philanthropist. If you guys have, I think you guys covered maybe effective altruism. It's basically like
we
donating
did
everything, donating your world, your worth, your this, your that. And so everyone loved him and everyone loved the idea of him. And then when he was
die, to be clear, live a really wealthy life until then. And then when you die, you can give it all away.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you. And so that was basically his MO. I think he's our age. He's in his late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
Just was the beautiful poster child of like what could be good with this crazy world of crypto. And then he shit the bed and everyone had to kind of cover their tracks because they've spent years of just covering this masterpiece of an individual that contributed to politicians and that traveled the world and donated his money and bought arenas in Miami and just did things like weird things. And so I think everyone's trying to cover for the fact that we just didn't know that he was such a blatant fraud. And it may just be a pride or ego thing.
But that's so funny to me because it's like, okay, then why is it so bad to admit that you were wrong? Like that would be like them still standing by Elizabeth Holmes. You know what I mean? It's like she was also a fucking media darling, but like now she's obviously not. So why is it bad? I feel like that's what I hate about journalism.
It's very strange.
Is that they just like take a side on us, they take a stance on whatever, and then if there's facts that prove the stance not to be true or the person not to be the person that they thought and were propping up, then they can't be like, oh, let's redact this this opinion piece. It's very strange to me, and it's something to think about.
Yeah, I would agree. Also, it's one of those things where I think that he's clearly a smart guy. Not smart enough, but smart enough that he was able to understand that if you have these people who have kind of put their own careers kind of behind propping you up and building your story, then they look really stupid. And then there's the other conspiracy theory angle where it's like, okay, so why are they protecting him so much? Like, and he's not an idiot. Did he get them involved in some kind of shady shit?
Probably.
Not saying that he did. I have no evidence to support that whatsoever.
Well, we have some evidence.
I mean, the only evidence I have is them like fucking jerking him off in every follow-up article that's come around when he should be in jail, right?
Right.
Like that's the evidence that I'm like, okay, but like, why are you doing this? And
do you guys want to play? Do you want to play a game? Do you want to play fact or conspiracy theory?
Yes. Oh my God. I would love to play this game. That sounds like my favorite game. Let's do it.
I feel like this will help us dive into all of those things that you were talking about. And the reason I'm looking over here is because I took good notes for this little session. Because I want to help clarify like what is a fact and what is a conspiracy theory. And by the way, full disclosure, I am a conspiracy theorist. I love them. I think sometimes they turn out to be true. Whatever. I think in these cases, we're going to find it out. So we'll start real quick. I don't have too many, I promise. No, we're going to ask fact or conspiracy theory.
Okay.
Question number one, or statement number one. Alameda Research, which for the users, Alameda Research is SBF's hedge fund that he claims he doesn't own, but he owns 90% of. Alameda Research lent SBF $1 billion for personal use. Fact or conspiracy theory?
I mean, it's so ridiculous. I would just say fact.
I'm going to go with fact.
For the sake of this game.
Yeah.
That's correct. It's a fact. In the bankruptcy filings, Alameda loans him $1 billion to do what he wants. And
whoa, wait. In the bankruptcy filings? Like when they were going down? Okay. I don't know about you. I did not know that.
That is very interesting.
I thought just in general he got $1 billion from them because like why not? What's $1 billion between friends? You know what I mean? But like they were going under and they were still like, oh, okay. Toss over $1 billion to him.
Yeah, a lot of people think that Alameda and FTX has been underwater for over a year now. So arguably, we'll get into it with the mismanagement money. One other thing I have on that is the director of engineering. Like we work with engineers. The director of engineering also got a loan from Alameda to the tune of $543 million.
For what? What kind of contracting are you doing in the Bahamas for $543 million? What is he doing with that money? What are you doing with the money? What do you think he's doing with the money? Prostitutes.
He's financing the global cabal. For real though, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. If we're on the
next question or next statement, fact or conspiracy theory? DoorDash just announced plans to cut 1,200 employees due to the fact that FTX ended its DoorDash employee food stipend of $200 a day for each employee. Fact or conspiracy theory?
I mean, it's so specific. I'm going to say fact.
I'm going to run with conspiracy theory just to mix it up. Because
yeah.
Wait, 1,200 employees, 200. So that math would be mathin' if that's true. Let's go. What is it?
I'm going to say conspiracy theory because I cannot confirm my sources. DoorDash just announced that they're laying off people. But let me just say something real quick. Alameda and FTX, they gave their employees $200 a day for DoorDash for food because the sandwich costs $10. So you would naturally need,
especially in the Bahamas
today. My favorite part about this article is that apparently in the Bahamas, Amazon does not deliver. And so what these FTX employees were doing were ordering Amazon packages to a location in Miami. And then SBF would charter a private plane. I don't know how periodically or how frequently. He would get private planes to pick up their Amazon packages from Miami and bring it to the Bahamas for their employees.
Wow.
That's a good perk.
Yeah.
That is a good perk. I'll go ahead and give him. I'm going to give that as a pro He
Yeah.
supports employee culture.
And he gives a hell of a lunch stipend. I mean, that
this
is
guy,
really
he's well
something
fed.
else.
They're getting their packages. This is the only good part about SBF.
It would be like difficult to spend $200 on. I would just get caviar.
I would be. Yeah.
And
What would you get?
fucking
What would you possibly be able to spend $200 on?
Gold-plated lobsters.
I mean, and they like don't drink.
You're
They,
right. Going into my next factor conspiracy
Yes.
theory. SBF regularly took a drug that treats Parkinson's as a means to focus better during the day. Fact or conspiracy theory?
I know he was like really big into drugs though, wasn't he?
Are you just about to drop on us that he has Parkinson's? We're like, whoa.
What was it called? Was it called gabapentin?
Wait, so is he?
No, not to
Oh,
my
okay.
knowledge.
Okay.
I'll
Is
tell
that
you in a
fact?
second. I don't
Is
want to
a
give it
fact?
away.
It's
Probably
a
won't give
fact.
it away.
I'm going fact.
I'm going fact. Yeah, it's probably fact.
Ding, ding, ding. It's a fact. MSAM, I think that's what it's called. A drug that normally is prescribed to treat Parkinson's and I think depression, was administered via a pouch. And these Twitter sleuths were able to find a picture of his desk with the MSAM logo. I need to clarify that MSAM, the makers of MSAM saw this Twitter blow up, and they had to clarify that this medication has fatal effects if eaten with meat or if taken with meat products, because I think Twitter people were like going crazy. And they also said that the medication can enhance impulsive control disorders such as gambling and hypersexual activity.
What?
Which is what he was doing.
And he was
Wow.
vegan.
And he was vegan.
Well, I mean, maybe he was vegan because he was taking this fucking medication.
Right.
Because
Fucking his roommates and his coworkers.
yeah, it was in a polycule. Very Brooklyn.
Very Brooklyn.
Very Brooklyn.
Yeah, all of those things. Vegan, polycule.
He was definitely on this drug.
Yeah. Maybe all of Brooklyn is. I don't know.
I prescribed it.
Yeah.
I'm like, should I look into this drug? Like, what are
Yeah.
what's the deets on this?
This is so fun. I want to play this game at the beginning of all our episodes.
Yeah. Okay.
I got a
we'll make
couple
one
more
more.
if you need to go.
Oh, let's keep going.
Yeah.
This is good.
Let's see. Oh, this is a good one. Maxine Waters is the congresswoman that we all know is kind of maybe intermingled with SBF. Previously, I think you guys covered this. Congressional hearings covered SBF. She's caught on camera blowing a kiss goodbye to him as he's leaving a congressional hearing. So she's a little intermixed with SBF right now.
It's very embarrassing.
Her name is Maxine Waters. Her husband is the previous U.S. ambassador to the Bahamas, which is where SBF is located with FTX,
boy.
And once participated in an FTX panel discussion. Fact or conspiracy theory?
Oh, for sure, fact.
That'd be a hell of a conspiracy theory. You're like,
Yeah,
actually,
right.
all of that's not. I don't even know if that's true.
Yeah.
Holy shit! I'm assuming fact.
Conspiracy theory.
Oh,
Damn it!
I just fall for anything now. I'm like, totally.
I was ready to run with that. I was like, I mean, Maxine Waters is in the polycule. Like,
The only fact there is he was actually an ambassador to the Bahamas, but I could only see on crypto Twitter that he apparently attended a FTX panel, but I couldn't confirm that. So.
Okay.
that's fair. It doesn't really matter because either way, she was being real soft on him up until a couple hours ago. We'll talk
Right.
about that in a moment. But damn. Okay. Do you have any other facts or conspiracy theories before I can ask one of my first major questions here?
I'll give you one more. One more. I won't go into the weird ones because those are a little too odd.
No, wait, what? Do go into the weird ones. We want to hear those too.
Okay, I'll do two more then, real quick. The first one's quick. BlockFi customers. BlockFi is now defunct. It's that crypto lender. They went under because FTX went under. I lost money there. All my friends lost money there. We all lost money there. BlockFi customers lent hundreds of millions of dollars to Alameda Research, which is also owned by SBF. That was then sent to one of SBF's weird shell companies that I think he's got 130 of them, which was then used to directly purchase about, I think 56 million shares of Robinhood, making SBF an owner. I think it's like a 7.6% owner of Robinhood.
Oh,
Back to
wow.
fiction.
Huh.
Well, now I'm burned by the last one.
I know,
I'm like,
me too.
I'm like, it's fact. I'm going fact.
I'm going fact.
That's true. That's a fact. So at BlockFi, because they're going bankrupt, they're actually suing him for his shares that he arguably bought with customer deposits or customer lending from BlockFi. All right, I got one more for you. That's a real conspiracy theory. I already ruined it for you. Let's talk about Ukraine. Oh my gosh, Ukraine, and FTX and everything. I won't talk about the war because I feel bad for everyone that's involved in the war.
Right.
But my conspiracy theorists on Twitter were arguing that Ukraine laundered funds it received from the United States through FTX only to be donated to the Democratic Party during the midterm elections. What is true is that the Ukraine government actually did partner with FTX to convert those crypto donations to get more supplies. What is also true is that Sam Bankman-Freid donated $25 to every single Ukrainian that had an FTX account. What is also true is that SBF donated $40 million across both parties. And he actually said, I donated just as much to the Republicans as it did to the Democrats, but I didn't publicize it because reporters would just freak the fuck out.
Well,
he was just trying to buy off every politician. That was weirdly one of the parts. Okay, so backing up a little bit, in our last episode when we talked about his donations to, media organizations and then political groups, he was like second behind, what was it, Soros or something like that? In terms of donations. In terms of a donation. So like a big player in the midterms. However, in further conversations, like everyone, obviously the right was like, he's, the Democrats are fucking corrupt, like, bah. And SBF came forward and was like, I donated a lot of money to Republicans too. And what was really interesting, and I think this was kind of like a very small tangent side note, is he was talking about how it was basically dark money. It was money that like we all know is being donated, but like no one is publicizing it because media attention around it is always going to be super negative.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure people like, I don't know, maybe they're open about it, but like Bezos and Zuckerberg, all of those guys, I'm sure are doing the exact same thing. So I think that was kind of like a cool little side note opening to be able to see like, oh, this is how it's going on in the background. And I honestly don't believe that he would limit himself to one party. Like, why would he do that? Why would this psychopath do that? He's on MSAM after all. Like he's got to maximize his potential here.
Well, that was the game. Thank you for participating.
That is such a good game. Thank you for getting us going with that. I really and that also touches on a lot of different things. Like first out the gate, obviously the whole deal right now is $8 billion. Where'd that go? What do you think? So currently the two kind of categories of explanations of what happened here are either that it was lost in being traded or that he straight up stole it and hid it away somewhere like a squirrel. And bought a bunch of houses, sent it to whomever. Maybe a combination between the two, but like what's like word on the street? What do you think's going on? Do you think we're ever going to get that money back?
I don't think we'll get all the money back now. And I think, by the way, the number is up to maybe almost $10 billion.
Perfect.
Wow.
Perfect.
I have a feeling the money was more or less traded away, lost for bad investments, purchasing dumb shit like the FTX arena. I think SBF bought his employees $120 million of Bahamian real estate. Like you can get a little bit of that back, but I think more or less what SBF was doing was taking customer deposits and giving it to his hedge fund or his trading firm to then make really risky investments. And then they lost everything.
Wow.
That's insane.
Those are really bad investments.
He's really bad at his job.
Yeah.
Really bad. And he's going on this apology tour right now, as we're all seeing day in, day out. He's going everywhere saying, I don't know what I was doing. I'm so sorry. If you were the CEO of your company, of a multi-billion-dollar company,
that's insane. Well, my question is, maybe I'm just like so dumb. I'm like, how is he not arrested?
That's a good question. Everyone's kind of like, what the hell is going on? So FTX, the big saga with Alameda and FTX is they're not US based. FTX has a US based entity. That one was arguably solvent, meaning customers could get paid out. The only problem is they were non-US based. To evade all of our regulatory requirements that would have prevented all of this from taking place, it was offshore. So he's hanging out offshore. The United States is now trying to collect enough evidence that would warrant bringing him back to the United States and trying him for crimes here. Yeah. But you're right. Like, why isn't he arrested? It's like a Madoff situation. The only thing is Madoff immediately confessed to his crimes and had really great balance sheets and really great statements showing all of his crimes. SBF is like, I didn't do anything wrong and I don't know what happened. So
yeah.
That's like such an insane defense to just be like, what?
Yeah.
Well, literally the whole defense has just been like, I don't know. Everyone's like, well, how do you get mad at, like, how do you even pin someone down with such a vague response?
I think that's intentional. I think honestly,
absolutely.
Of course it's
like, I want to say I don't know so many times that people are bored of me and don't know what else to ask, and they're going to move on.
Yeah, and his parents are lawyers, so I'm sure they have drilled it into him. So I know when they went through the bankruptcy proceedings and he stole $1 billion apparently again, which is just the elephant balls on this guy.
Yeah, you can see that from space.
On, like, you gotta give him some credit, and damn,
yeah,
ballsy. But they bring in the new CEO, who's the guy who like brought down Enron, right? Who like dissolved, like,
restructure. Yeah, he basically helped restructure what was Enron, which was nothing at the end.
Right. Nuts. Wow. And I remember he said that it was like the worst thing he's ever seen after doing Enron, which is hilarious. But then in that process, I know he released like a big, the bankruptcy proceedings, and there was some stuff that was in there. I'm guessing one of it was the $1 billion that had been transferred out. Was there anything else that was part of that filing that would be like really worth knowing? Again, there's so many there's 1 million articles. I've read a lot of them, but not like there's a lot.
Oh, I wish I would have grabbed the specifics of that bankruptcy filing. It just shows the gravity of the situation where teenagers were high on medicine. And you know what? Our whole generation's on Adderall. You can do whatever you want. Just get your job done, do it right, do it ethically, and like play good by your customers. I think what it just went to show is John J, whatever his name is, Ray the Third, the Enron guy. He was basically like, this was the most mismanaged, like the most horrible thing I've ever seen in my entire career. And he is the guy that brought down one of the most horrific financial crimes that took place in the history of capitalism. He basically said, this is the worst ever. This is the worst I've ever seen. They didn't have HR. They were approving these wild expenses with emojis. They were
emojis. Literally, that was their expense report. It would be like $50 on, probably actually more than that, $1,500 on, I don't know, meth or something like that.
But it'd be like crocodile.
Peach blossom.
Right.
And then an emoji would check it off and say, yeah, okay. They didn't have anything. They had no accounting controls. If you see their balance sheets, and by the way, I'm drinking an old fashioned because I can't get through these seminars without.
Yeah.
Honestly, you work in crypto, drink that old fashioned, girl.
Go ahead.
If anyone has earned a drink, good for you. Cheers. We're drinking water because we don't do shit as important as that.
No, not even close.
No, I've done I would recommend, if you do have any ounce of time, just Google. Don't read the whole bankruptcy filing. Google an overview of it, not from the Wall Street Journal. Go to like a legitimate source. It is horrifying, like how poorly run this company actually was, and how many people like Tom Brady, like everyone was just dumping money on this.
Wait, can we talk about Tom Brady and Gisele's involvement? Do you think we have a conspiracy theory going on over here at Risque Business News that that's the reason why Gisele and Tom got divorced?
Have you not heard this? No. Dude.
Well, so before they got divorced, they went down to the so he had like come back. He retired, came back, and then spent 10 days in the Bahamas, and then came back and were all of a sudden divorced. And no one's like putting two and two together. It's very interesting.
I mean, it's for sure. They have for sure fought about it. And I actually think that the reason they're divorcing is to separate their assets. Because as we know, Gisele actually had a position at FTX. I'm sure in name only, but the courts aren't necessarily going to care. And if they come for her assets, then the more and the faster they've gotten those split off, the better they are. Mm-hmm. We're fucking right, dude.
We're so right.
This is a conspiracy theory podcast for sure.
Fact
now.
or fiction? Fact.
To the facts box.
We're throwing that in fact.
Yeah.
I know that Tom and Gisele not donated. I think they invested like $600 million.
They put a lot of money. And Gisele actually had she did a whole Vogue shoot because she came on as their like culture something or other, like bullshit. I'm sure she did nothing besides one Vogue shoot with them.
Of course,
But she technically had a title there.
Wow.
Wild.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's believable.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, and I think what's funny about this is that they're very open about the fact that like there was no one in charge. And I do want to say there's a certain amount of like these other companies and these other organizations that were partnering with them. Where the hell was their compliance team? Because this is so SBF has, as we know, been going on a world tour recently. He's like one step away from doing this damn podcast.
I know. Oh my God, we should ask him.
We should fucking ask him because he's showing up all over the place. This is a clip from. Let me go ahead and
just
share.
Have him over, Laura.
I'm just gonna have him over.
Just have him over.
Yeah, and I'm like, There's a couple people here who want to talk to you. I don't know.
He's a dream guest. He's also, you know who else is the Pharma Bro. I feel
The
like
Pharma
the Pharma Bro
and
would
we
come in
are
here.
1 degree off from getting that guy on as well.
Yeah.
Weren't you at a party? One of my friends was at a party with him. Was it you?
Not me. No.
Literally, one of my friends was at a party with him recently, and I got angry. I was like, "Why did you not call me? I would have. I would have flown from wherever. I would have hired
Yeah.
Okay, so this video here is SBF on the New York Times, now infamous meeting that he did where he went on 2 weeks after the bankruptcy and just chatted it out at a speaker session. So anyway, him talking about not having any boards.
Hate.
And that should have been a red flag, frankly, for all of us.
Yep.
Interestingly,
Correct.
in some ways we had too many boards. We had
Wait, what ended up happening? It said no signal.
No, it cropped out. But all we needed to see was him saying he says that he has too many
No
boards.
way.
Have you seen that clip before?
No, I told you I refused to watch the Deal Book Summit because I knew they were going to elevate him. They were going to give him a spotlight for him to say, I'm so sorry. I'm embarrassed. We had too much oversight. We had too many boards. Too many boards.
Too many
Who said
boards.
that?
Yeah. Him.
That's very funny.
There's literally no adults working there. They had no CFO, and he
No adults working there.
had the biggest balls ever. Went and was just like, yeah, we had too many boards available to review
so
this.
Funny. Wow.
I'm speechless.
Oh, it gets. Honestly, I'm glad you didn't watch it because I had no money involved in this, and I was still horrified by the whole thing. Some of the highlights were he said he of course claims that he didn't knowingly commingle FTX customer funds with those of Alameda Research. Of course, he's going to say that.
Yeah.
Then he denied he had knowingly committed fraud, saying, I did not ever try to commit fraud on anyone. Pretty cool way to, pretty cool question that really got in there. I'm glad that we got to the facts there. Then he said he did not realize what a dangerous position the firms were in until it was too late. Again, just playing an idiot.
Right.
Then he admitted that big mistakes were made. This is insane. And then at the very end, we'll spare the video, but they literally go to him and going, have you told the truth this whole time? And he just waffles. He's sitting there and he goes, I don't know of times when I lied.
What?
That's a guy who's lying, team.
Well, didn't
And let me guess. They clapped at the end of his performance.
Probably.
Oh, yes. They were like, thank you so much for coming on.
Well, also, didn't he get caught in screenshots of a DM, basically
With a Fox reporter?
Yeah, essentially admitting guilt.
So they asked him about that, and he got pissed because he goes, I thought I was having a personal conversation with a friend. I forgot he was a reporter.
Oh my God.
This
Is that the
fucking
DMs?
guy.
Wait, is that the DMs where he said, fuck them regulators? He was
Yes.
basically
Yeah.
fuck the regulators.
Yes. Also, he said fuck altruism, which was his whole thing. Literally. It's what?
It's all a lie.
You're
It's
a-
all a lie.
You're a bad person.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yes.
So what's up with the girl? Is the girl also going to
Yeah, has
jail
anybody
or
been tracking
something?
her?
I
What's
feel
going on?
like I don't know. She's skating by in some way.
So you have to applaud her for not speaking, for
Yeah.
literally shutting up. She's probably going at the direction of her lawyers to be like, don't say anything. It will only
Yeah.
help you if you don't say anything. I'm sure you guys have had the dirt pulled on her. She's a little bit of a weirdo.
Yeah.
A little
Saw that
bit,
Tumblr
yeah.
account? Oh, yeah. She's a freak. She's a freak. She all the race stuff, too. I was like, okay.
Yeah. She's into eugenics and stuff. Allegedly.
Or she had commentary around it on her Tumblr.
Yeah.
Sus.
Very sus.
I'm going to add that one to my conspiracy theory / likely true list because only time will tell that truth will come out. She's weird though. And I think SBF owns 90% of Alameda Research and gave CEO ownership to her, who was his girlfriend, his friend, his ex-colleague, his current
lover.
colleague.
Yeah.
And so she's doing the show and she's got 27 years old. I don't know. Has she ever run a company before?
Nope.
Has she ever run a
course
quant trading firm before?
She worked at Jane Street with him and then went over to do this
Yeah.
with
We don't
3
know
years
anything about her.
experience.
Other
We don't
than
know
her
anything-
Twitter account talking about shit like that, talking about amphetamines, talking about polyamory, talking about all the things that you wouldn't expect a CEO of like a multi-billion-dollar trading firm to talk about.
No.
Yeah.
Or somebody, quite frankly, who looks like her to be talking about.
We're all thinking it. We're all thinking it.
Right.
Yeah, precisely. So
She
I don't
also-
know where she is, what she's doing. She's just as involved as he is. And she's actually the one that right after the bankruptcy took place, she acknowledged to a reporter, like, SBF knew everything that was going on. SBF knew that we were taking customer funds, and SBF knew that we were using those customer funds to make risky bets and to pay off our loans on Alameda.
Wow.
So she
Holy
implicated him. And so he's probably like, here I go on my apology tour to say, like, I really didn't know what I was doing. I really wasn't involved. But he was involved. He had to
Yeah,
have
of
been
course.
Absolutely. That was really interesting, actually, because this apology tour led him to, and all of his tweets led him to being fired by his law firm. I don't know if you caught that. That was one of the million stories that came around. Paul Weiss was representing him out the gate, and they had this like very fiery exchange where.
Wait, him and his lawyer?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So his law firm, Paul Weiss, which is like they do
Big ones.
chaotic these kind of scenarios, they're used to it. But like one of their whole things is like, shut the fuck up, we're your lawyer now, like let us do our job, right? Tiffany Fong, who is like a crypto influencer, I guess, I don't really know much else about her, she had she did a phone call interview which was part of his media tour with SBF, which I listened to parts of it, and I don't know why he did that interview. But on the phone call, she said that he said, and it's public, you can read it, said his lawyer chewed him the fuck out for his apologetic tweets and told him to promise that you'd never ever say you fucked up again.
Oh.
Sam allegedly told his lawyer to go fuck himself. SBF remarked that lawyers don't know what they're talking about outside of their extremely narrow domain of litigation, and that if you're a complete dick about everything, even if it narrowly avoids making moderately embarrassing statement, it's not helping anything.
Huh.
So Paul Weiss was like, bye.
First of all, wait, how is he paying to say, go fuck my lawyers? Because they're obviously going to dump you and still collect retainer for you to go find another lawyer that you can't afford. How is he able to afford the balls that he has to say shit like that to his lawyer?
I don't know, dude. I think part of it is his parents are lawyers. So he has a pretty big legal safety net in the sense of, I don't know if they're able to represent him, if that's like a thing.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
But like maybe that's like his whole deal. But like I also genuinely think he is so confident in his legal position of being outside the United States that he is like, it doesn't matter. And he thinks he has a future.
Yeah.
He thinks that he genuinely in a year or something is gonna like get back on the horse.
Yeah.
And
raise investor money. He thinks he's going to raise money to bail out his funds.
And that's why I think right now in his mind, he's going on this whole like review tour to try to convince people that he's actually still a good dude. He's making it so much worse, which is very funny.
It's very fun to watch.
Very funny to watch.
Compelling.
Agree on all accounts. He's insane, certifiably insane. What will also be fun to watch is Maxine Waters bringing him in for a congressional hearing. For him to basically, I don't know, either the United States conspiracy theory right here. The United States is luring him in to say, we welcome you to speak on the congressional panel, just to arrest him for all of the crimes that he committed against U.S. customers. Or they're going to fluff whatever they did, like Andrew Sorkin did, and just be like, hey, thank you so much for coming. We'd like to understand what you did at FTX. Like, I don't know what it's going to be. It's going to be one or the other. It's probably going to be the second one.
I mean, that Twitter exchange between the two of them was extremely embarrassing. I'll put this on like the YouTube and maybe we'll post it on the Instagram. But essentially, Maxine Waters tweeted at SBF, why is this all happening on Twitter? Can we just quickly...
Because you can't trust the fucking New York Times or the Wall Street Journal. You can't trust them anymore.
I guess. But like, it's just weird that all of this drama is like surrounding like every piece of this, every little part of this whole thing is falling apart. So Maxine tweets at SBF and she goes, we appreciate that you've been candid in your discussions about what happened at #FTX.
Oh, God.
Thanks, Maxine. Your willingness to talk to the public will help the company's customers, investors, and others. To that end, we would welcome your participation in our hearing on the 13th.
Do you think they asked Madoff Do you
No,
think
bitch,
made
you
her feel
arrest
like-
him. What are you talking about? Like, he stole a bunch of money. So this guy, once again, balls of a rhino, replies to her. Representative Waters in the House Committee on Financial Services. Once I have finished learning and reviewing what happened, I would feel like it was my duty to appear before the committee and explain. I'm not sure that will happen by the 13th, but when it does, I will testify. He
Oh my
basically just
God.
gave her the finger and was like, I'm not coming on the 13th. Why would I do that?
Yeah, and she's like,
Publicly on Twitter.
Oh my
Publicly on Twitter, he did that.
That was
Wow.
ballsy. Balls the size of the moon rotating
The
around
moon.
the Earth.
Yeah. Planetary.
Planetary balls.
Yeah. Orbiting.
And then she had to respond because it was on fucking Twitter. So you can't just get owned by SBF on Twitter as a
Right.
congresswoman and not respond. And so then she kind of laid down the hammer of like, you will be there. You'll be there.
She replied, it was literally like 2 hours ago that she finally, how pissed off. Can we just like quickly give a moment of silence for Maxine's day? Maxine, she was, and her team just being like, are you this piece of shit? Asshole, I've been blowing kisses to. No, that was a conspiracy theory.
wait, so the 13th.
But that's
is
true.
though-
That was true.
No,
She
that
blew
was
kisses
true.
to him.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, straight
Oh
up.
my God.
Yeah.
And he has the audacity to send that kind of bullshit. If she says come, you're coming, boy. Sorry.
So,
and
next
that's
week?
next week. He's supposed to be
Wow.
showing up in front of them to explain himself. And he said no. And she was like, you don't get to say no. Sorry,
Yeah.
you don't get to say no. You're going to be there. But to be fair, like, I actually don't know if he has to go. Like, do you
He
have to
doesn't
go?
have to go unless he like gets extradited. Like, what's going to make him go? His effective altruism? No. That's
Yeah.
Well, I guess the one interesting situation is now it puts him in a position where if he really is going on this apology tour in order to save face and to like look good to ultimately the American people, which is hilarious, then him not going to this completely pulls the rug out from underneath that entire attempt.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, you wanna talk? Come on over. Let's go. Let's get some stuff on full record. And he's not going to do that.
out of all of it, out of everything that has come out in the last couple of weeks, because it's only been a fucking couple of weeks.
I know,
been
it's
like a
crazy.
month, not even.
Yeah.
Not even.
For,
2.5 weeks.
for like people that don't work directly in crypto exchanges, what has been like the most surprising thing, the most out there thing for you both watching this unfold?
That they're having sex.
Thing?
We're all thinking it.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't have pegged him or that other lady as somebody who's really getting down and busy quite often. But wow, I mean, and not only just with each other, I mean, with like several people, which I was like, how do you
Holy-
find enough people that like, I feel like they just found a bunch of uggos and put them all together in one room and collectively pooled to be like a 6. You know, like everyone's points collectively pooled.
Like you have 0.75 points.
Yeah.
Your hair's kind of nice, so it's a point. There we go.
That's
Now
very
it's an orgy.
generous. 6 is generous. I would give him like a 1.5.
I
but-
wouldn't say this is surprising to me. I just find it fascinating how like easy it is to buy off politicians and to get into like, and how obviously some publications are ingrained with certain affiliations like, you know, politically, and you could just sort of like get in with their good graces, and that buys you a lot of freedom, a lot of leniency. Just interesting.
I guess it points to I mean, I know that there's a lot of corruption, but just seeing it so heavily emphasized. There was one thing that I think we maybe mentioned briefly in the last episode, like on fruitcake.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's so funny. This podcast is like we talk FTX, and then we did, which was a great episode, the story about the fruitcake drama down in Texas.
Yeah. Whatever.
But I hid in the middle of that there were like 6 congressmen that had encouraged the SEC to not look in to SBF, I want to say like 6 months ago or something like that. And all of them had received pretty substantial political donations by the guy. That needs review.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't know. I'm assuming someone's on it because I sure as shit not looking into it. But I'm going to go here right now and say that someone should be calling them.
Yeah.
Can we get their cell?
I would say that's correct. And there was one other fact I had. It was Carolyn Ellison. I think, did I say this one or not? Her dad is
Yes.
an either economics professor or something at MIT, or is the head economist at MIT.
Oh, wow.
Guess who he worked with? The head of
Who?
the SEC, Gary Gensler. So they could be somebody for all
did we already
know.
know that? Crazy.
I mean, that was one of the 50 million
Shocking things.
shocking things I dropped. And yes, isn't that insane?
And
I
to
mean,
go a
it's not
step further, I mean, there's private meetings. We have agendas because that's public information between SBF and FTX and Gary Gensler and the SEC behind closed doors to talk about furthering the regulatory agenda that favors FTX and that actually doesn't favor the decentralized finance movement that we're trying to build, that doesn't necessarily go along with what FTX wants to accomplish. So it's really crazy what we're seeing.
Interesting.
So going off of that, we talked briefly last time about CZ's involvement. If you remember, CZ was like the CEO of Binance.
Yeah.
Oh, is he like? I'm new to a lot of this stuff. I don't know. I don't follow this on a day-to-day guy. Do we like him? Is he cool, or is he all right?
And I'm not good with movies, if there's a movie that portrays someone who shines light on something really bad, but we're not supposed to love this character, but we love what he did, that's CZ.
Okay.
CZ is a monster, maybe a capitalist. I don't know. He's a monster individual that runs a monster exchange called Binance,
Right.
biggest exchange in the world. What happened, and this is my favorite story of it all, is that CZ held a lot of this token called FTT. And I think you guys may have covered this.
Yes.
FTT is a made up out of thin air, wipe my ass token that SBF created for FTX. It's a utility token. You can use this token to waive gas fees, to use some of their products. It's like a little shitty token that people use on their exchange only. For some reason, Alameda had, I think, billions of dollars worth of this token on their balance sheet.
Didn't they have over 70% of the total volume of the token on their balance sheet?
I'm pretty sure it was probably more than that. And the daily trading
wow.
volume should be nothing, but there were movements of massive $4.8 billion trading movements. That was all at Alameda. So what really happened, and I think you guys definitely covered this, November 2nd, a CoinDesk article came out about that irregularity right there. And everyone was like, well, that's weird. But no one thought too much about it because we all knew that Alameda and FTX are so commingled that we just assumed that it was between them. The fucking CZ on, I think, November 6th, he goes to Twitter, always with fucking Twitter. He goes to Twitter and is like, you know what? I'm selling it all. There's some like weird irregularities. And CZ had, I think, $560 million worth of this token. And when you're in crypto markets, if you have that much of a token that's not really used, if you sell that, that will crash the market of that token. It was trading at, say, $25. It would have crashed to zero if he would have sold. Carolyn Ellison goes to fucking Twitter and says, hey, ZZ, don't sell. We'll buy it off you for $22. And CZ's like, huh, why would you do that? Everyone on Twitter starts wanting to liquidate their position in FTT because they're like, wait, something is actually going on. Something's actually going on where Alameda is for some reason wanting to recoup those millions of FTT tokens from CZ. Price sinks, creates a liquidity crisis. All of the FTX users rush to the exchange, want to liquidate all of their assets, want to withdraw all of their assets, which creates what is called a bank run. Very big liquidity crisis. SBF can't deal with it. Alameda can't deal with it. They're in the hole, 2 million, 5 million, 8 billion, $10 billion. And then all of a sudden they're like, game's over. And I think SBF even fucking tweeted something like to CZ, you know, you won this time.
Yeah, he did.
Oh,
He did. And I think he deleted it after. Paul Weiss is like, bitch, stop tweeting. What are you doing? But
everyone's tweeting.
Everyone's tweeting. So and then the reality of that whole situation is they should have been able to dick around with FTT as much as they wanted because customer funds shouldn't have been at all tied up in that valuation or whatever the hell it was. But they were. They had taken them and put them into this random kind of, I don't know, futures on coins or something crazy. I don't know. Do you actually know what the risky investments that they were making were? It's all right if you don't.
Top of my head, I don't, but they were just over levered. They were getting margin called. They were literally just making bad investments, generally speaking. I think they had, I want to say, in like shit projects that went under, and also we're in a bear market. And so when crypto's in a bear market, the prices that we were trading at in 2021 are like literally here in 2022. Right. So no matter what, we're lost. The big reason why Alameda went under, which is conspiracy theory on my list. You guys remember in May, when the Terra Luna collapse happened.
Oh, we
and
talked about it. Yeah.
yes, Three Arrows Capital went under. Voyager went under. Celsius went under. You know who also went under?
Who?
Alameda. Alameda went under. And you know what happened? Conspiracy theory, but I think likely true. SBF bailed them out with customer deposits backed by FTT collateral, which vested in late September. And this is when you see like a $4.8 billion transfer of that vested FTT token from Alameda's address to FTX's address.
Whoa.
That's for sure what happened.
Yeah.
Like, I bet $100 that's what happened.
A whole $100.
A whole $100. We're really making it on this podcast. We're
Yeah.
really good putting all the skin on the game. That is insane. Dude, that's for sure what happened.
So they
For
actually
sure.
went under in May. Alameda went under in May. FTX and Sam was like, cannot let this happen. And you remember when Sam was like effective altruist or whatever he was, philanthropist, he was like, I'm going to bail out BlockFi. I'm going to bail out Voyager. He was doing that to save his ass and save Alameda because all of the commingled assets and all of the FTT that was out there.
What do you think's going to happen to him? You think he'll get like assassinated?
Yeah, dude. Like,
I mean, like dead ass, you know?
Will
Like, a
he
lot
go to
of people-
jail? Will he go to jail?
I don't know.
I mean, I think.
Should.
Well, actually, that's a really good segue into another topic I wanted to discuss.
All the fucking deaths?
What's up with crypto founders getting drowned?
Yeah, what's up with that?
What's going on?
What's your hot
Because
take on that? We can go through a few examples you pulled here.
I pulled a handful of examples. There were a shocking number.
Do you have the MakerDAO one? Do you have the MakerDAO one?
No,
Rico
I
man?
don't. I have 4 others.
I
but-
sent you one today.
You
that
have 4
was
others
new.
and not the MakerDAO man?
Dude, there's so many of them. Like, there's so what? Like, okay, so just kind of summarizing, there's. At first, you sent me one, and I was like, "Oh, that's weird." And then we were like looking through the list, and I was like, "That's a lot." And then they sent me another one, and I was like, "Okay, a weird amount of founders of crypto companies, or I guess I don't know
Or
if these
crypto
people are
exchange.
exchanges or making the coins themselves, projects, crypto-related items, people in their late 20s, early 30s, like healthy, normal adults who, to be fair, are frequently coming from fairly affluent backgrounds. So it's like no weird health shit involved, mysteriously dying
Yeah,
Like-
very weird.
with no explanation around it. What's going on? Are you doing it? I'm just going.
Yeah.
How mad are we?
Inside is you. The MakerDAO, this is like a billionaire that actually uncovered some weird sex trafficking shit in Puerto Rico. And his last tweet was like, I'm not dying. I'm not trying to kill myself. They're coming after me.
Yes, yes. Okay, that's the one I sent you today.
I'm
The
sorry.
Puerto Rico
there was a
one,
lot
yeah.
to read.
Yeah. For his last tweet, let's pull up his last tweet. Let's
Yeah.
what's his name again? Or what's the
I'll find it out right now. Hang on. While
Okay,
you pull
because
that
the
up.
last tweet was insane.
They're claiming no evidence of foul play, but you guys covered
course
John
they
McAfee. There was some weird shit going on. John
Okay,
McAfee
here.
is also
Yeah.
crazy. But
Drowning death of crypto visionary Nikolai Meshegian fuels conspiracy theories. He tweeted on October 28th that intelligence agencies were going
Okay.
to come murder him. First of all, his Twitter handle is delete_shitcoin. That's really funny.
Wait, so it says the CIA and Mossad and pedo elite are running some kind of sex trafficking, entrapment, blackmail ring out of Puerto Rico and the Caribbean islands. They are going to frame me with a laptop planted by my ex-girlfriend who was a spy. They will torture me to death. And then he died. Like, I don't know why I just laughed just then. I just so insane. But he
I mean, no,
died
yeah,
a few hours later.
like that's the kind of shit that we're hearing. That's just one
Yeah.
example of like the 4 or 5 that came out in the last week.
Yeah, Tynton Kulander died in his sleep. Oh, God, I can't pronounce this. Vyacheslav Taran died in a helicopter accident. 3 of them have recently died unexpectedly.
Yeah.
And there were more.
And then Gerald Cotton, who I covered.
Do you think Gerald Cotton is dead?
I don't think he's dead. That was
No.
the one where I was like, I actually do think that was part of his fraud.
Yeah.
But maybe he got this whole thing kickstarted.
Did you watch that documentary? It was fascinating.
Not yet. I need to though.
It
I
was
read
really
the whole
good.
thing. I was obsessed with it like I am with this.
Yeah.
He did not die. There's no way he died.
No,
way.
it's so weird though.
Matthew
know.
Mellon, I don't know if that one was covered, but he was a banking heir and crypto billionaire and died unexpectedly.
These all crypto millionaire and billionaires, young
Autumn
healthy
Ratsky.
men that are not at risk of suicide.
Right. I feel like all of these people are under the age of 35 that we just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
So I don't know what that's all about. I'm assuming someone's looking into it.
There was
Once
also
again-
one in Japan that like it
Autumn.
said. Oh, that the one? Okay, like where literally it was like, oh yeah, he just died in his sleep. He went to sleep. He didn't wake up, and it was like, wait, what?
Yeah, the end.
Like
Do
no,
that.
like
We don't
No.
do that. We don't just go to sleep and we don't wake up. That's
God,
very
I hope
rare
not.
that
I'd be
happens.
so scared.
Yeah.
Well, just
very
don't
rare.
become a crypto billionaire.
Yeah, exactly. And then whoever the fuck is killing people
So
won't
what
kill
I,
them.
so
Won't
moral
kill me.
of the story is you guys losing all your money in crypto is actually a good thing because that means you're less likely to be killed in your sleep.
That should be SBF's angle out of all of this.
Yeah.
Paul Weiss, if you're
Thank you
listening,
for taking your money. You're welcome for taking your money.
it's very dangerous to have all that money.
Damn, this is
Not good
insane.
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a
That's the side
world.
of SBF and crypto state of affairs, I would say. Lots gonna. I mean, we're gonna see contagion. It'll be ugly. Companies are shutting down left and right.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you like elaborate a little bit on that? So obviously we're angry at him. A lot of trying to figure out if he's going to go to jail or not. But the reality is that a big exchange, the number 3 exchange, has just collapsed. And that has got to really impact the trust in crypto as a whole, not just the people, because like people are going to, like to your point earlier, people are going to, there's criminals everywhere. There's criminals in every industry, as we
Right.
know. Like we
Yeah.
see it all the time. We our
literally
whole-
have a
every-
podcast about it. So
every
yeah.
week we talk about it. Do you know what I mean? So like it's not like it's industry specific because some people were like it recruit like there's a lot of scammers and I'm like there's scammers everywhere, baby.
Yeah, there's scampers at fucking Santander too.
Yes, exactly.
Aunt Rita.
HSBC. Come on.
Yeah.
So point being what it does really highlight is the fact that there aren't regulations and those kinds of things are the reason that your money can get like stolen and then no one's going to jail. Has that really impacted the industry? Obviously there's like fluctuations in coin prices too, so I know that's impacting it a lot, but like kind of what's the vibe? What's the read?
Yeah. So luckily in the United States, there is, I would argue, not great regulation, but heavy regulation. So if FTX, their main entity in Alameda, were in the United States, it would have literally never happened. The commingling of assets, the conflicts of interest, the or lack of disclosures, the fact that he was using exchange spot funds and like spot trade money to invest, like you can't do that. You just can't do that. And so I'm grateful that we live in a country where we have law, like we have basic regulation to prevent horrible activity.
Yeah.
Has it lost trust? I mean, I think at this point, our nation has either agreed to accept crypto or just not use crypto. And so I don't think SBF or FTX really changed anyone's mind. I'm hoping, aside from these puff pieces by New York Times, Wall Street Journal, I'm hoping that people understand that this is a fraud
Yeah.
in a company and it's not a breakdown of the technology that is blockchain and cryptocurrency. And so I think the good news is we're fine. Bitcoin blockchain was not affected. Ethereum blockchain was not affected. No one was affected, technologically speaking, by this. The only problem is all of these other exchanges that either had funds on FTX, all their lending, like there's lending products that you and I may use, those are stuck on FTX. So when I was mentioning earlier, I have funds stuck on Gemini. I have funds stuck on Genesis. These are two really big entities that are involved in both exchange and lending and borrowing. They've had to freeze customer withdrawals, which is really bad. That's a really, really bad signal in the industry. And companies will oftentimes go under. BlockFi filed for bankruptcy, Celsius filed for bankruptcy, like it's happening. And so that's the contagion we're experiencing now, which is really unfortunate because FTX and SBF was a fucking asshole and he had to do what he did. So we're all suffering. So there's a million creditors with FTX, but then there's so many other people down the line that are also affected. So it's really shitty. But I think at the end of the day, it helps regulators realize like, this is technology we have to regulate and not necessarily this traditional finance thing because it's not really there. But what FTX and what SBF did was he was a fraudster. He was a con man. He was a really bad guy. And so you can use him and his fraud crimes and everything else as a poster child. But I think when it comes to like the technology and the blockchain itself and cryptocurrency, the prices really haven't even fluctuated. I think when SBF filed for bankruptcy, Bitcoin was probably at 16,000 and now it's at 17,000. So clearly the technology is not affected, but it's the exchanges. And like you said, the customer trust in using these custodial exchanges where they take your money,
Right.
they may not give it back. And by the way, your banks take your money, but they always give it back because of the laws that we have in the United States. Hopefully we can get to a point where exchanges are held by different laws, but similar, I don't know, similar ideas of if you have customer funds in your platform, back it up 1-to-1. So if they want to withdraw, you're not using it in some shady, risky investment. You give their money back, if that makes sense.
Yes.
I guess, and I mean, maybe you don't know the answer to this, but like, do you think we're even remotely close to getting that kind of like actual tangible regulation that would make sense? Okay, you think we're approaching? Is Maxine Waters on it? Is she doing it?
If she keeps blowing kisses to these fuckers, then I don't know. But because I work on the legal and regulatory side, so I follow these hearings day in, day out. I'm seeing regulation. I'm seeing these people actually start to understand the technology. So I'm like, okay,
That's good.
we're getting there. The only thing I fear is if they apply like patchwork, if they take, banks do this, so cryptocurrency exchanges have to do the same thing. It does not work at all. It doesn't make any sense. It's dumb and it's just not applicable. And so I'm hoping that we're seeing nowadays, we're actually getting there. And the United States might not be the first, but I don't think we're going to be the last to implement like good regulation. And we have regulation, like it's there, but it could be better.
Could be better.
Could be
Moral
better.
of the story.
Yeah.
SBF, your job, you could have been better at it.
Yeah. Could have been a lot better.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Oh, that guy. Well, that guy. Well, one last, I mean, let's not forget my other favorite, Elon Musk. I just want to talk about briefly. He had a really hot take that he came out with on Twitter. He goes, SBF was bad at League. Nuff said.
Nuff, Nuff said. I love that.
He's such an idiot. Then some guy replies, SBF doesn't need any more mentioning except for his court date. And then Elon actually replied to that and said, agreed. Let's just give him an adult timeout in the big house and move on. Which I was like, that's for real.
Yeah, he needs a little vacation in the big house. And I'm sure it will be a vacation. It's going to be one of those sick-ass prisons I wish I lived in.
I know. I'm like,
What do you mean? Didn't he play tennis and eat steaks in his?
I
don't
think
know.
so. Yeah.
That's where SBF's going to be.
Oh, for sure.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Yep, but he was bad at League, and honestly, that probably hurt his feelings. He was Did you hear about? This is just an aside, but when he did his initial pitch to Sequoia, he was playing video games the entire time, and they were like into it. They were like that. Not that that's an insane red flag and disrespectful, and like just what kind of sociopath? That's crazy. That's a crazy thing to do, team.
It is. You're Sequoia. You are the gold star. You are Sequoia. And you were looking at this guy playing video games as, I want him, love him, we need him. Let's do it, whatever. I'm like, is that what we're going for these days? The lack of due diligence you do on a guy that plays video games during a pitch?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
It's just like one of those things where, listen, if I'm doing a job interview and I'm interviewing a candidate and they are playing video games, I'm going to assume they're not interested. I don't know. Call me crazy. Call me old fashioned. But I'd be like, hey, I don't think this guy's actually like dialed in / respects me.
Right.
Respects me as a human being, because you don't do that to human beings. And that's his whole problem, is he didn't see his customers as humans.
Right.
And then he's stealing real money from them.
It's crazy.
Real money. Whatever.
Really well said. That's exactly what happened.
It's also, it's amazing to me how somebody, like, it feels like one person vouched for him and then every single person just fell in line and they were like, oh, I must be missing something if I don't think he's super great. It's sort of like when comics that aren't that great get a little heat behind them. And then next thing you know, they're booked on every fucking show and you're like, but I don't find them funny. And like, but then everyone else is saying they're funny. So you feel like an idiot. You're missing something, or you have the bad taste.
The crowd doesn't like him either. Like, what are we doing here? And
well, let me tell you something. If anybody should go to jail, it's those comics, okay? They need to hear the bars clink. They're just
probably will. They probably are going to go to jail before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fucked up part.
The way things are going.
SBF.
That's insane. Yeah, I want to know more about this girl because I feel like people aren't talking about her enough, and she also is like extremely guilty. So what's going on?
Yeah.
With that?
I mean, they should both go to jail and be united there and have a polycule in jail and then a reality show on it.
Oh, I would watch that.
I would watch the shit out of that. Come on.
What do you think is going to come out with the first documentary or series or movie on?
Wasn't, oh my God, I think didn't I write, wasn't that guy, with them for the last 6 months? There was like a theory around it that one of the
Michael Berry or something like that. The Big Short guy.
the Big Short
Oh
guy.
wow, really? Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if it's gonna be like an actual movie that like plays in theaters or like a
I don't know.
Netflix stock.
I can't wait, but I will be watching it. And
Oh,
we
I will be watching.
We will continue to discuss this because it's obviously not done.
It has
we'll-
everything you want. It has fraud. It has sex. It has weird uggos. It has Bahamas. Drugs.
Offshore.
It has literally
Parkinson's.
Giselle, Tom Brady,
Yeah.
Larry David.
Really, it's got
Yeah.
everything. I don't know what else you want. What else do you want from this podcast, team?
I feel bad for Larry David because I heard that he's also getting sued because he like
Yeah.
and he's like, I don't know, man. I just showed up for a fucking commercial. Like I got a gig.
If you guys saw the commercial, it was so Larry David. It was so
Yeah,
it was good.
And
We
the
played
commercial,
it.
he's like, I don't want crypto.
Yeah.
So if anything, he was like, no, I don't want this. I'm good.
Yeah, if anything, he shouldn't be sued because he was giving good financial advice to stay away from RBF.
The hard irony is, yeah, like if they actually are going off of like the pitch, I'm like, well, he didn't do anything wrong. It's very.
He'll
funny.
be fine.
I love the commercial. I also love
Yeah.
Larry David. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I
it was
don't
a good
think
commercial.
that
Everyone's going to
that'll
get
hold.
sued. Everyone's going to get thrown to this documentary.
Yeah.
I can't wait. We'll be revisiting this. Hannah, really appreciate you explaining it because
Very much so.
genuinely, holy shit, it's too much for me. It just can't.
Yeah.
I was like, I know vaguely what we're talking about, but I'm going to need someone with real facts or conspiracy theories.
Or conspiracy
Which were
theories.
so fun to go
Yeah,
through.
That was
So,
fun.
And if you're listening, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Really, please write in. We've really enjoyed the commentary that you guys have provided. So if you have any facts or conspiracy theories that you want to add to the mix, please send it over to us.
Or topics.
Or topics as a whole, because we're here for you. We want to do more stuff that's good for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed. Hannah, anything else? Where can we find you?
I love talking shit and conspiracy theories all about crypto.
Yeah, it was
It's the
great.
best. It's the best. So, all right. We'll be back.
Okay.
Like and subscribe.
Like
Bye.
and subscribe. 5 stars. Thank you very much. Goodbye.